Hey guys, thanks for watching. Today we're going to talk about a few things that you should check on your bike before you go and get on the highway and go for a ride. A few things that are very important. Number one that I like to check is your tire pressure. Any tire pressure gauge will do as long as it's fairly accurate. I carry a standard little pencil style. Rear tire by this manufacturer is 42 pounds at cold, and the front is 40 at cold. I like to keep mine around 36 to 38 when they're cold on the back, and around 32 to 34 on the front. If you're unsure, there's a plate on the side of the tire that gives you all the information of what the PSI or the bar should be at cold. I'll give you a close-up of that. And if you're unsure if the tire's not marked, look it up by your manufacturer or in the manual if it's the factory tires. I think the factory manual actually has the Dunlops listed, proper air pressure. But always make sure that you have enough air in your tires. That's something you need to check every day before you ride. The other thing you want to check is your brake fluid and your oil level in the sight glass. There are two markings here. You want to put the bike in a parallel to the ground position. Just hold it up like this and the oil will fill up. Straight up and down. And I am just below the top mark there, which is good. There's still a little oil up in the actual engine right now. I just got finished riding. Yeah, I'm doing a preliminary check after my ride. No, I'm only doing the video after the ride. I actually went and did all this before I went out and decided that maybe I should do a video for you guys that have never ridden before and never done any bike maintenance. Brake fluid, this is ABS model. Normally your clutch or brake has got a little reservoir up here on a lot of bikes. So look in your manufacturer's recommendations on how to check that. It could be up here on the handlebar. It could be down here such as this is. That fluid level you can see is good. We just checked that. Check your tire pressure. Back tire usually has more than the front. Also, when you're checking your air pressure, do a quick visual inspection to make sure you've not run over any nails, that there's no cracks in the tire. Check it out real well. We'll roll the bike forward slightly. We'll check it again. And do that until you've gone all the way around. Just make sure everything's good. Another thing you want to check will be your chain tension. Bike in neutral. Roll the bike until the chain slack is all at the bottom. Generally you can tell when it's just slightly sagging. And you can do just a real quick check with your finger or some other object so you don't get grease on you. Like the tire gauge, just tap the bottom of the chain. Make sure you've got enough tension there. On this bike, it being a newer one, the tension is still good. I'm going to do a video soon on cleaning the chain because I rode this during the winter months. Which it's still the winter months, it's just really warm, but in the earlier months, the salt and slag and all was still on the roads. I'm going to go over and brush it all out and re-lube the chain to get some of that salt out of there. I'll show you guys how to do that too in an upcoming video. Another thing you want to check is your gear. Okay, you always want to check and make sure your gear is in proper working condition. Helmet, most importantly. Boots if you have them. Secondly, you want to make sure your visor's not cracked. Make sure everything's working properly there. If you're going to be using the vents, maybe open and close them, or go ahead and open them before you ride. You want to check your emergency pullaways and your straps. Make sure nothing is frayed or loose. Make sure all the padding is properly installed if you've had it out to clean it. Look in the helmet, make sure everything looks good. Put your hand in there, feel it. If your helmet's older than 5 years old, you need to get a new helmet. These things are only approved with a date stamp for a certain amount of time. And normally they're right here on the side of the visor or on the back of the helmet. And this one is on the side. Okay, just on one side here. And I can't hardly read it because of reflection, but it says that it was good in May of 2016. May of 2016 was the manufacturer date, so in 5 years, if I still have this helmet, I'll replace it anyway. So you need to check your date on your helmet, make sure everything's good. It's a brand new helmet, so I'm not really worried about that. All right, you can see I've got my boots on, my pants. Now with boots, you want to make sure that if you have any buckles or ratchets, make sure they're working properly, that they're not going to slip or come undone while you're riding. If you don't have boots, then this doesn't apply to you. Make sure that your stitching hasn't come apart. Check the bottom. Make sure you don't have anything stuck in there, gravels, if you've stepped on a tack or a nail or anything. Just make sure everything's the way it should be. Make sure your shifter support here is not loose. Last thing you'd want to do is go to shift gears and get this thing hung under your shifter lever, or lose control of the bike. Just make sure everything's in good working order. Same thing goes with your riding shoes, boots, whatever you're wearing. Make sure you don't have any loose parts on the top or the soles coming off. Wear proper gear. My pants, my padding, the armor, here and here, all in good working order. Everything feels good. I checked all that before, made sure my pads were in their pockets and in the proper place. So I was ready to ride. As far as anything else you should check, the weather. You have an app on your phone, pull it up, make sure that wherever you're intending on riding, that everything's going to be good for you. Make sure you're dressed appropriately. If it's calling for rain, wear the right gear. Maybe traffic reports, check all that stuff. Before I left today, I checked my bike, the oil, the air pressure, made sure my gear is in proper working condition. Usability was good. I checked the weather, and I timed my ride where we're getting ready to rain here in the next 30 minutes to an hour. So, timed that one just right. But be safe on the road. Make sure you got the proper gear before you go out. Don't be a squid. Be safe, guys.